Rabbi Isai, welcome back to Yerushalmi Maaser Sheni. I'll tell you a quick story. So a couple of weeks back, someone got in touch with me, one of these people who learns with someone else. Do you know anyone who does Yerushalmi? So he says, oh yeah, I know YCD does Yerushalmi. So he got in touch with me. He says to me, I'm speaking in a small kehillah in the middle of London, Shavuos night at 1:30 in the morning, and that they've never heard of, they don't know what Yerushalmi is, and I know a bit about Yerushalmi, doesn't know much. Can you help me out? I said, well, see my playlist where I've got my summary of Yerushalmi, tell you what it's all about. So he watched that YouTube video, and then he spoke at 1:30 in the morning to this Hebrew who'd never heard of Talmud Yerushalmi, and it looks like it hopefully went down well. So there we are. Okay, Rabbi Yossi Omer. I'm going to call out to Alex who got in touch. Rabbi Yossi Omer. So we're up to Amar Ravacha, but just to put you in the picture. So there was a Tanai that whenever the Beis Mikdash will be rebuilt, we'll come back to the various rules of being poida fruits, etc., Maaser Sheni fruit. You won't be able to be poida kem ravoi. Remember, kem ravoi found within a day of Yerushalayim, a distance of a day. We can learn from the words of Rabbi Yossi Mikdash Asidi Bonas Koida LaMalchus Beis David. Now this is a chiddush. Yerushalmi is saying the next Beis Mikdash will be built before the return of Malchus Beis David, right? Before Mashiach will go on his throne. So now how do we learn this out from Yerushalmi? What's going on? It says in the Pasuk, with Malchus Beis David, there'll be tons of grapes. Badam einav tishteh chamer. Right? Even one grape will produce lots of wine. So the time of Malchus Beis David, there'll be such abundance of wine for Nesachim, there'll be no shortage of grapes in Yerushalayim. So at that time, you won't need to bring the takana back. The whole takana back was to adorn the markets of Yerushalayim. We don't need to be lacking grapes. But you, Rabbi Yossi, are saying when the Beis Mikdash will be rebuilt, then the takana will come back. You see, there must be the Beis Mikdash will be built before Malchus Beis David comes back, and nowadays before Malchus Beis David, that time, because yet there would not yet be an abundance of grapes. Therefore, you'll need the takana. It sounds like you'll need the takana to bring the grapes because the Beis Mikdash will be rebuilt and there will be no Beis David yet. That's the Yerushalmi's chidush. Okay, the whole koach of Malchus Beis David will come from the galus of Shechina, etc. Okay, let's carry on. Ken Ravoi Beis Shammai Omer. Now Beis Shammai exempt Ravoi. Remember what Ravoi is? Ravoi is the fourth year produce. Yeah. They exempt it from adding a fifth and from being mevayer it. Remember, other maestros, you have to be mevayer them. You have to get rid of them twice every 7 years. So the Gemara brings a brisa. Tiny, we learned to the brisa. Rabbi Omer. When the Beis Shammai's word said that Peres Ravoi is potter from the Chomesh, when you redeem it, and from the Biur. So that is b'shvius. If it grew during the Shemitah year, and therefore, if it's the fourth year of its planting in the Shemitah year, that's when this exemption was in place. Aval b'shar shnei shavua, if it's the other years of the 7 years, Beis Shammai Omrim, Beis Shammai say yesh lo chomesh, the din of the fifth does apply, the yesh lo biur, and again you do have to get rid of it at that twice a year schedule. Now, so the idea is Peres Ravoi and Shemitah. I mean, Beis Hillel agree you can get it from Hefka, right? Other years, the Torah gives the right of Peres Ravoi to the owners. No one else can acquire it. During Shvius, the Torah made it Hefka. So you say the Torah gave you the right to eat Peres Ravoi, so you're getting it from Hefka. So you're the owner of the fruit. Beis Hillel say you have to add a fifth, right? Beis Shammai, however, gave you an exemption during the Shemitah year. Fine. Now, according to this Tana here is Rebbe. Beis Shammai holds, Lo lamdu neta ravoi. Now, where did the idea of neta ravoi, remember, kem ravoi and neta ravoi are similar ideas. Yeah, one is a vineyard, one is what applies to other things. Lo lamdu neta ravoi, ela Maaser Sheni. It's a gzer shava from Maaser Sheni. So they agree other years, just like Maaser Sheni, you have to add a fifth when you redeem it, and you have to do biur. So Ravoi also has these dinim. So they hold we completely equate Maaser Ravoi and Maaser Sheni. So Kamada Tema, just like you say, Ein Maaser Sheni b'shvius, but there's no good Maaseris. You have to give Maaseris during the Shemitah year because the fruit is Hefka. So similarly, Ein Neta Ravoi b'shvius. There's no din of a fifth or biur for netar avoy during the Shemitah year. Now, if that's the case, we're going to ask, if that's the case, there shouldn't be netar avoy, full stop. But let's see. Now, me'ata, if Beis Shammai telling me we completely equate dinei netar avoy to Maaser Sheni, al yehilai kedusha, netar avoy should not have any kedusha at all during the Shemitah year. You should be able to eat it wherever you like without redeeming it. Just like Maaser Sheni doesn't have any holiness during Shemitah. And yet, from the words of Beis Shammai, they say, it hasn't got a din of a chaimesh, hasn't got a din of a fifth, you don't have to mevayit it. Sounds like they hold it's got kedusha and you cannot eat it outside Yerushalmi without redemption. It seems to be, you still need the redemption, you still need to have in Yerushalmi, but it should have no holiness at all. So the Gemara answers, Kedushasei me'elav lamdu. The kedusha of ravoi, this produce that you have to eat in Yerushalmi, the Torah says, Kodesh Hilulim. Harehu Kodesh, this is like a fruit which is holy, but Shekorin Olav Halal, and that you praise Hashem through it, like Bikurim. Just like you can't eat Bikurim outside Yerushalayim, it's holy from when it grows, right? You can't eat Bikurim outside Yerushalayim. You cannot eat Revoi outside Yerushalayim. And that Kedusha is learned, that which it said, Revoi, that's not learned with Maaser Sheni, it's Chal even during Shemitah. Even though Maaser Sheni does not have any holiness in the Shemitah. But he says this is a din in itself, Kodesh Hilulim. It's like learned from Bikurim that it does have Kedusha even during the Shemitah year. Okay? Bikurim needs a shira when you bring it. Sounds like this shira is halal. But elsewhere it says the shir was Aramimcha Hashem Kidi Lisani, which is Tehillim number 30. And some say the Mishnah there is talking about other shirim that they would sing when they reached the Azorah, not the actual Bikurim shir, which was when they waved it. Okay. Some say the idea of praising Hashem, they read the Parsha of Bikurim, Arami Oved Avi, in Parshas Kisavai, right? And there's also praise to Hashem in that Parsha as well. Okay. Now the Gemara here seems to imply that Shemitah produce has Bikurim. Rashi al Torah says that. The Rambam seems to say Peres Shvius is Hefker. Now, Peres Shvius is Hefker, but when it grows, it's still in the Rishus of the owner. According to Holden, it's not Hefker on its own, it's a mitzvah to make it Hefker. So basically, it started growing, it was ready, the owners had a Chiyuv of Bikurim before you made it Hefker. Okay. Other Achronim hold it's completely Hefker, and there's no Din Bikurim during Shemitah year. Chazon Ish. When now we're saying Bikurim applies in Shemitah, that means fruit that budded in the 6th year and it was cut during Shemitah. That's not Hefker. Okay, let's carry on. Now we're going to still ask on Rebbe that Beis Shammai compare Din Revoi to Maaser Sheni. So v'yehei muter la'oinen. If it's Revoi in the Shemitah year, should be permitted for an Oinen la'aleinu who has not had the burial yet of his relative. And the issue of eating Revoi to an Oinen is learned from Maaser Sheni. And the Maaser Sheni can't eat being an Oinen, so Revoi should have the same din. And yet our Mishnah is mashma that only a Chomesh and a Biur Beis Shammai pater Revoi in Shemitah, but other dinei Revoi, like the Oinen not eating it, Beis Shammai agree that it applies during the Shemitah. So why do these other restrictions apply? So the Gemara answers that the source for Revoi for an Oinen is learned from elsewhere, not from Maaser Sheni. Ta'anim we've learned with Revoi, Kodesh Hilulim, which of course was the same puzzle we brought before. Kodesh Hilulim, Magid Shuhu tells me that it's holy, but also Oinen, and an Oinen cannot have it. The word Kodesh, we learn Peres Revoi is also to an Oinen, like other korbanos which are forbidden to an Oinen. Okay, some say they learn it from the word Hilulim. You should do it b'simcha, and therefore you can't eat it ba'aninus because he doesn't have joy. Right. So since the eating of Oinen, Revoi for an Oinen is learned from what's written in the Parsha itself, not from Maaser Sheni, therefore the Issa remains during Shemitah, that it doesn't apply. Therefore the Issa applies even though there's no Maaser Sheni. Right. Now, we come back to what we said before. The Beis Shammai learned the din of Kedushas Revoi from Bikurim. Now, if they do hold that you can learn some dinim from Bikurim, then you can learn the din of biur from bikurim. So v'yehechai b'biur, just like shmita, like bikurim. And yet Beis Shammai said there's no din of biur. You don't have to get rid of it twice every 7 years. So the Gemara pushes away the question. You can't learn biur from bikurim. Begin to Rav Shimon, because they hold like Rav Shimon. Rav Shimon paitem in biur. He says even bikurim doesn't have biur. You don't have to get rid of bikurim according to him. So the source for biur with Ravoi is Maaser Sheni. And that's why it's got a din like Maaser Sheni that it doesn't apply during Shmita. Okay. Now we said according to Beis Shammai, there's no din Ravoi. We don't have in Shmita Ravoi because it's learned from Maaser Sheni. Now Tosefta brings, Beis Shammai agree, you cannot be paid a Ravoi if it's still connected to the ground, even during Shmita. And that's learned from the laws of Maaser Sheni. So if the issue to be paid a Ravoi connected to the ground is learned from Maaser Sheni, v'yipada, then you should redeem Ravoi in the Shmita according to Beis Shammai, even b'muchah b'lakaka, even connected to the ground. Because they hold the dinim I learned from Maaser Sheni, which doesn't apply in Shmita. So you should be able to be redeeming it, even still growing. Now it's a very good question. I'm afraid there is no answer. But others, some Acharonim do give answers. Now, also Beis Shammai don't pater Ravoi from the Chomesh Shabir only in the Shemitah year. Right? Let's bring a brisa now that brings another opinion. Tony Rav Shimon Gamliel, his version, Echad, whether it's Ravoi and Shvius, Echad or Shashnish were the other years of the 7-year cycle. Beis Shammai, his version of Beis Shammai Omrim Eila Chomesh Ve'Lo Biur. There's no din Chomesh all 7 years, according to Rav Shimon Gamliel's version, and there's no din Biur. Now, why does he say this? According to this Tana, he says, no, they never learned Ravai from Maaser Sheni at all. There's no source to be Mechayev Ravai with Chomesh and a Biur. They never learned it from Maaser Sheni. May I ask if that's the case, Al Yehela Kedusha says should be no holiness. You should be able to eat it wherever you like. And yet the Mishnah said there's no question. The whole argument is Chomesh and Biur, but other dinim, there's no argument. So why do you have to eat in Yerushalmi? You should have no Kedusha at all. Kedusha say me'elav lamdu. The Kedusha they learned from its own Parsha, as we quoted this pasuk, Kodesh Elonim. Hareu k'kodesh v'shekayin olav sahalal. It's like a fruit which is holy, and you read halal, which is like Bikurim, just like you can't eat Bikurim outside Yerushalayim, so you cannot eat Ravai outside Yerushalayim. Now, if you're telling me we don't learn it from Maaser Sheni, if that's the case, we mutter la'ainen. Again, an Einen should be allowed to eat it. The whole Issa Ravai is learned from Einen, from Maaser Sheni. If we're not comparing to Maaser Sheni, then why should an Einen be forbidden to eat it? The Mishnah is mashma that everyone agrees that an Einen can't eat it. So the Gemara answers, Issa Ravai for Einen is learned from elsewhere. Tani, as we quoted before, Kodesh Elulim, Melagim, Lamed, she tells me Shu Asul Einen, it's holy, and it's forbidden to be eaten by an Einen. Okay, now, according to Beis Shammai, they learn Ravai from Bikurim. Now, if they do hold that you can learn Ravai from Bikurim, then they can learn Biur from Bikurim. Then you should have to get rid of it twice every 7 years. Why do they exempt you from Biur? So he says, begin to Rav Shimon. They hold out Rav Shimon Paita Biur. He holds Bikurim has got no din of Biur. There's no source for real Biur with Ravai, according to Beis Shammai, because Bikurim also doesn't have it. Now, if you're telling me we don't learn from Maaser Sheni at all, the Tosefta says they agree you cannot be paida it when it's growing on the ground. So if that's the case, the same question we had before. And if that's the case, you should be paida it even still growing to the ground. Why not? Again, the Gemara does not answer the question. Some say Shimon Gamliel argues on what's brought in Tosefta, and he holds you can be paida it when it's connected to the ground. Okay, that's what someone is saying. He said, according to Beis Shammai, how do I know Ravoi, the produce, is holy and it needs, if you want to eat it outside Yerushalmi, you have to redeem it, right? Now, we don't learn from Maaser Sheni. How do you know it's holy? How do you know you can't eat it outside Yerushalmi without pidyon? He says, Shenema, it says, Kodesh Hilulim, Kodesh Chilulim. You can change the hay for a ches. Chilul, you have to be mechal it onto money, redeem it onto money. Although it says Hilulim, Lemis Manin, Rabban, and Dashi ben hay lehet. The Chachamim made no distinction, I don't know how that could be, but they made no distinction between Hay and Het. They were prepared to Darash and the Drasha, even if you have to change, the letters are coming from the same place at the end of the day. Well, Gichat Behek, but the letters are similar in their reading and their writing. The reading and writing. So that's why they darshaned it. They're both letters from the throat, from one source. Gichat Behek. They swap one with the other, yeah? Beis Hillel do learn from Maaser Sheni, so they don't need this Kodesh Hilulim. The Bavli actually brings this drasha, and it sounds like even according to Beis Hillel, there is a need for this drasha for other. Okay, now let's bring a third opinion in the view of Beis Shammai to exempt Ravai from a Chomesh. Tana Ravai Bar Nagri, Kum Rabbi Lo. It's the Rabbi Shmuel. This is Rabbi Shmuel's version of Rabbi Beis Shammai. It says with Maaser Sheni, God Yigal Ish with Maaser, right? A person will redeem his Maaser Sheni. Chamish Hisa Yosef Olav, he has to add a fifth. The word Olav means on Maaser Sheni you have to add a fifth. Perat leNeter Ravai, excluding Neter Ravai, She'ein Chayav in Olav Chomesh. You don't have to add a fifth on that when you redeem it. And this is where Beis Shammai say you don't have to add a fifth. Now until now, we brought a brisa explaining Beis Shammai. So now we bring a brisa explaining Beis Hillel. Chazavatana, Rabbi Ivo brought a brisa with Shmuel. He said Kumai in front of Rabbi Lo. He says Gal Yigal, the double wording. Shtei Geulais Hein. There are two redemptions. Achas the Maaser Sheni, Achas Neter Ravai, and on both of them you have to add a fifth. So Beis Hillel say yes, you have to add a fifth when you redeem your Neter Ravai, right? Okay. Yeah. Now Taman Tanina. Now this is going to be now based on Rebbe's view of Beis Shammai. Taman Tanina, we learned in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Ein Nachri Keren Ravai lo Nachri. And the guy has got no din of Keren Ravai if guy owes land. Now Chacham Rabbi Yeshlai, Chacham say they does have a din of Keren Ravai. Our Rabbi Loz, Akinim Asisa. This is what you explain the Mishnah. Ein Keren Ravai b'Surya. Well, when it says a Nachri he's got no din of Keren Ravai, it doesn't mean the whole of Eretz Yisrael. It means in Syria, which was of course double conquest, yeah, right in the north. That area does not have a din of Neter Ravai, right? Where it's in the north, right, which was Kivush Yachid. So these words you have to add into the Mishnah. The Mishnah didn't say this. The Mishnah said when the argument of Yehuda and Chachamim, the question is, does a Nachri have a din Keren Ravai? The Yehuda said no, and the Chachamim say yes. They're talking about Surya. They're not talking about Eretz Yisrael proper. And secondly, according to Yehuda, all the fruits in Surya is potter from Ravai, not just the guy's property, but all the fruit in Surya. The Mishnah mentions about the fruits of a guy, but that's only to tell you that according to Chachamim, even the fruits of a guy in Surya need Ravai. But the truth is all fruit in Surya, according to according to the Chachamim, right? According to Yehuda, all fruit in Surya is potter, not just the Nachri's fruit. Rabbi, where does Rabbi Yehuda learn this din? There's no din Ravai in Surya. Rabbi Amakur Ravzir, Asid Rabbi Yehuda, the din of Rabbi Yehuda, there's no Ravai in Surya, is Beis Shammai. U'adate the Rabbi, and according to Rabbi's version of events, Kamada Beis Shammai, just like Beis Shammai Amru, they said, Lo lamdu Neter Ravai ala Maaser Sheni, that they did learn that compare Ravai from Maaser Sheni, so we should equate the two. Kamada Tema, just like you say, Maaser Sheni b'Shvius, no Maaser Sheni in Shviti yet. Therefore, say Neter Ravai b'Shvius, so that's why they said there's no din of a fifth or bill of Maaser Sheni and Shvita. Keni Rabbi Yehuda Omer, so now our Rabbi Yehuda here talks about Nachri's area. Lo lamdu Neter Ravai ala Maaser Sheni, we learn it from Maaser Sheni, and Kamada Atama ein Maaser Sheni b'Surya, there's no din of Maaser Sheni in Surya. Therefore, say similarly, ein Neter Ravai b'Surya, there's no Neter Ravai applying in Surya. That's how far we go. Although they did learn the din Ravai Gzer Shav of Kodesh Kodesh. They do learn this din. Since Rabbi Yehuda can't necessarily fit in, they hold the Gzer Shav was to compare Ravai to Maaser Sheni l'Chumra. It has a din Chomesh, has a din Biur, but not for a kula to exempt it from Shemitah. We can't learn a kula to exempt Surya produce. Okay, right. Amalei. So Reb Zeira pushes away this explanation. He says to Rabbi Chabi, come and see. Well, see what Beis Shammai say. You cannot say that Rabbi Yehuda is going in their opinion. Because when did Beis Shammai say that Ravai and Shemitah ain't no Chomesh, ain't no Biur, no din of a fifth, there's no Biur. But the other dinim apply. Other dinim, Beis Shammai agree, applies during Shemitah year. If you want to say Rabbi Yehuda, who we have, right? Rabbi Yehuda is talking about Nachri. We're talking about Surya. If you want to say he's going according to Beis Shammai, he should have said the fifth and the Biur don't apply in Surya. But he seems to say there's no Ravai at all. Why did he go so far? It must be Rabbi Yehuda's got a different view. And this is the way to learn him. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Eina Nachri Kerem Ravoi b'Surya. A guy has no Kerem Ravoi in Surya. So he's talking about the fruits of a guy in Surya, and he says, right, there's no din Ravoi on a guy's vineyard. In Surya, there's no din Ravoi, because the owner of the guy removes the din Ravoi. But a Jew's fruit in Surya, Rabbi Yehuda would agree, Ravoi would apply. You hear that? It's only now Nachri's vineyard there's no Ravoi. But Jew's fruit, then Ravoi would apply. So he says here, in the Maskana, you've got Rabbi Bibi and Rabbi Zira arguing in Rabbi Yehuda's view about Yisrael's fruit in Surya. So according to Rabbi Bibi, they are potter from Ravoi. According to Zira, they're chayev. The Maaser, everyone agrees, says the Rashba, that we don't patter these pears from Ravoi. According to Rabbi Bibi, Rabbi Yehuda patters these pears. Allah is not like Rabbi Yehuda in this. According to Rabbi Bibi, the view of Rabbi Yehuda fits in like Beis Shammai, but according to Beis Hillel, Ravoi applies in Surya, and it applies in Chutz La'aretz as well. Produced in the 4th year, applies even in the Chutz La'aretz. The Rambam, Paschal's halacha, there's no Ravoi in Surya. So the Rambam seems to say the Ravoi does not apply. Both halachas, both opinions are brought in Shulchan Aruch, very study Daled. There's a third opinion of the Goenim. There's a difference between a vineyard and other trees. And according to that, Kerem Ravoi applies in Chutz La'aretz, a vineyard, but other tree produce, there's no din Ravoi, only in Eretz Yisrael. And that's how the Bira Gra, that's the Vilna Gaon, says like that opinion. So he distinguishes between a vineyard in the 4th year abroad and other trees. Okay. Shmuel Barabba, is that where we are? Yeah. Shmuel Barabba, boy, he asked, Beis Shammai Omrim, Beis Shammai say, Le'lamdu netor Ravoi elam Maaser Sheni, and we should compare it, according to his view, we should compare it to Maaser Sheni. Just like we say, Ein Maaser Sheni is b'shvius. You should say there's no such thing as netor Ravoi b'shvius. But similarly, we should say, Shlishis v'Shishis, even in year 3 and year 6 of the 7-year cycle, if there's no Maaser Sheni in year 3 and year 6, however, Maaser Sheni, right? There's only Maaser Oni in the year 3 and year 6, right? There's no Maaser Sheni in year 3 and year 6. So therefore, Netor Ravoi shouldn't apply in year 3 or 6, because no Maaser Sheni that year. Rabbi says, look, there's a difference between year 3 and year 6 in Shemitah. It says, Shlishis v'Shishis, 3 and 6. Look, Maaser Sheni, you're right, there's no Maaser Sheni year 3. But Yesh Ben Maestros, there's other type of Maestros. Right? There's Maaser Oni. So the idea of Maestros applies. Where Shvius, there's nothing. Eila Maestros Kaleka, there's nothing at all. Now, we brought the din of Rabbi Yehuda that there's no din Ravoi in Surya. Rabbi Bibi said, because we learn Ravoi from Maaser Sheni, and therefore it's got like din like Maaser Sheni. There's no Maaser Sheni in Surya. Chayfa Sha'al, Chayfa was named Amayra. He asked, Rabbi Yehuda, according to the way you're learning Rabbi Yehuda said, Le'lamdu netor Ravoi elam Maaser Sheni, and we should compare Ravoi to Maaser Sheni. So Kamada Tema Ein Maaser Sheni b'Surya. Now Maaser Sheni doesn't apply in Surya. Similarly, you should be no such thing as Ein netor Ravoi b'Surya. We should also say, now with a carbon taida, you have to bring 40 loaves, and you give a truma l'Hashem, and we learn Gzer Shava, this truma to Trumas Maaser, so you have to give 4 loaves to the Kohen, right? Out of the 40 loaves, so truma you give a 10th. Well, it's not a 10th, but the idea you have to give a truma l'Hashem. Gzer Shava between truma and Trumas Maaser. Okay, so he says you have to bring together 4 types of loaves, right? Chalas lechem, chametz, 3 chalas rekikin revucha. From each type, 10 loaves, 40 loaves, and you take a truma l'Hashem. The rest is given to the Kohen. It's like a 10th, just like the Levi, just like Maaser. You have to take a 10th, right? The shir Trumas Taida is 1/10, like Trumas Maaser. So 1 lechem from every type of 10. This Gzer Shava is brought also in the Bavli and Menachos. So there we are. So we learn Gzer Shava between this Truma and Trumas Maaser. Now, Lo Lamdu Trumas Taida, Elam Trumas Maaser. But since they only learned the idea of the 4 loaves out of the 40 from Trumas Maaser, so therefore we should compare Trumas Taida to Trumas Maaser. Gemara table, just like say, Ein Trumas Maaser Bamidbar, there was no Trumas Maaser in the Midbar. There was no Trumas and Maestros then, so they went into the land and they conquered it. We should also say, Lo Tei Trumas Taida Bamidbar. So the Trumas Taida, the 4 loaves of the 40, you should also not apply it in the Midbar. And yet they definitely brought carbon Taida, like other Kavanas. But Amar, like Yossi, they said, they didn't learn Trumas Taida from Trumas Maaser. right? Ela l'shiurim, only for the amount, how much. But the other dinim, they didn't need to learn that from a Trumas Maaser. It says that clearly in the Torah. So don't learn, or you don't have to learn that Trumas Torah didn't apply in the Midbar, like Trumas Maaser, as opposed to Ravai, where that was not talked about in the Torah. You have to learn it from Maaser Sheni. Therefore, Yehuda holds we actually compare them for all the dinim. So he's saying that din was only for the shiurim it was learned from, right? Other dinim, we don't learn everything from Trumas Maaser. All right. Tani related to the price. So Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda Amar Rabbi Lazar Rabbi Shimon Aimer. Then is Chavi Son Neter Ravai Elel Acha Ba'asei Shana. So the Neter Ravai mitzvah only is after 14 years of coming into the land. Sheva Shekivshu, 7 years of conquering. The Sheva Shechilka, 7 years of dividing the land. Oh, Rabbi so as Rabbi Yosef Yehuda is like Rabbi Yehuda, but Shinas Rabbi Yehuda in the view of Rabbi Yehuda his father. Kamod Rabbi Yehuda Amar. Just like Yehuda said, we learn it from Maaser Sheni. And therefore we compare it. Gemara Teva, just like we say there's no Maaser Sheni in Syria, ain't Maaser Sheni in Syria, similarly, and there's Ravai in Syria, there's no Ravai in Syria. Ken Rabbi Yosef Yehuda Aimer, he also said, like London, that's Ravai, and Maaser Sheni, that they didn't learn that's Ravai only from Maaser Sheni, and therefore we should compare them completely. Gemara Teva, so we say no Maaser Sheni, ain't Maaser Sheni, and La'acha Ba'asei Shana, after 14 years of conquest and division. The Echvasei similarly, ain't Ravai. So again, no din neteravai only after 14 years. Okay. Rabbi Yossi said, no. Why should Rabbi Yossi say his din from the father? Maybe no. Maybe we should say the opposite. But the Otemi Ravai doesn't apply in Syria. B'shinas Benai. Maybe he's following the view of his son Rabbi Yossi, like his din. The Ravai didn't apply in the 14 years. Because Surya Lameda Ma'abe Shana. In other words, which way round? What's learned from what? Right? We wanted to say just before, we said just like Maaser Sheni doesn't apply in Surya, so no need to Neter Ravai. And just like we learned it from Maaser Sheni, and just like there's no Maaser Sheni in the 14 years, so there's no Neter Ravai in the 14 years. So comes Rabbi Yossi now, who says Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda, learned his din from his father. Maybe it's the other way round. But maybe this din that of Rabbi Yehuda, that Ravai doesn't apply in Syria, was learned from B'shitas Benai. When he said there's no din 14 years, so basically maybe the father learned there's no din in Syria because he said there's no din of 14 years. Because Syria made the Abbas Rishona. Maybe the din of the Ravai in Syria is learned from the fact that there's no din of Ravai in the first 14 years. Ain't Abbas Rishona made of Syria, but not the other way around. So how do you know which way around it was? Right? Maybe the din of Syria was learned from the din of Rabbi Yossi. There was no din of Ravai for 14 years. But who says Rabbi Yossi that didn't hold a Ravai for 14 years was learned from his father's din about Syria? How do you know it was that way around? The Gemara brings up right, explaining the view of Rabbi Yehuda. See if it says in the Torah with the Al and Ravai Vashana Chamesh Yisroch period. Now, in the 5th year, you can eat the fruit. La'aisid lachem, you'll have your produce. Rabbi Yosef Glili Omer. The word la'aisid lachem, Hareat Kamoisif Peres HaChamesh is like you are adding the fruit of the year. Of your 5th year, our Peres Revis on top of your fruits of the 4th year. My Peres Chamish is the Balin, the produce of the 5th year goes to the owners, it's Cholin. Our Peres Revis, so the 4th year you have to eat in Yerushalmi, but it's yours. Yeah, you may have to redeem it to Yerushalmi, but it's Balin. It's your money, it's not heavenly money. The owner can be Mekadesh a woman with Ravai, or with the money of the redemption. The Kedushin is Tophes. Right, it's your money. Yeah, the money is considered, the produce of the 4th year is considered yours. Rabbi Zira, Rabbi Yassim, Shem Rabbi Yochanan, asked Rabbi Yosef Glili, Rabbi Yehuda, and this Rabbi Yosef Glili fits in Rabbi Yehuda. Kamad Rabbi Yehuda, just like you said, it's considered your money. Right? We learn Ravai from Maaser Sheni. Maaser Sheni is your money. Ken Rabbi Yosef Glili, also he treats Ravai as your money of the owners. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Zira, Kedire Mishu, if you want to say we make Ravai like your money, like Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Yosef Glili, it's your mammon. Mal shechai b'maisrus. Do we say Ravai is chayav in maisrus, like other fruit which you own? You hear that? Do you have to separate maisrus from Ravai, the produce in the 4th year? Do you separate maisrus? It's yours. Now we understand it's holy, it's kodesh, But we're saying, well, do you have to separate maestros? He says, Levi, Levi. He said, not only this halacha we had a doubt, Kol Haloshon she refers basically, look, if you're not sure and you don't know what the din is, say look, go and see what people do and you keep like them. Because people probably do what's right. Right? We find a brisa that's lovely. If they're not Nevi'im, they're B'nai Nevi'im. Go and see what people do.
This wasn't living
and they didn't separate Maaser. No one separates Maaser Sheni from Kerem Ravoi, right? The produce in the fourth year, no one separates Maaser from that. Ramana said, look, maybe asked this question according to Beis Shammai. Okay, look, that can't really fit into honest right out. Because we actually look at Beis Shammai. You think that people follow Beis Shammai? No, of course not. Allah is like Beis Hillel. So there's no raya from the fact of the people to understand Beis Shammai's view. The people obviously don't follow Beis Shammai. We're asking Beis Shammai's view. So the same thing here. His question of Rav Yirmiyah is according to those that Ravoi is your money. Now that's Beis Shammai's view in the Mishnah. So it doesn't help me what people do. They obviously don't follow Beis Shammai. Beis Hillel argue, they say it's heavenly money. So therefore the din of Shub and Levi doesn't really fit in. We cannot learn the suffix based on the tzibur. Because it is Mammon Gavaya, really, according to Beis Hillel. The whole question of Rav Yirmiyah about do you separate Maaser is Beis Hillel, according to Beis Hillel, is Mammon Gavaya. Now I suppose it would make sense to say Mammon Gavaya, you surely shouldn't have to separate Maaser, because it's not yours. Right? He says, according to their shitta, Valdai Ravoi is potter from Maestros. So it might be the question, but it's clear. If it's Mammon Gavaya, then the question doesn't start, right? If it's Mammon Gavaya, then it's definitely potter from Maestros. Right. Ravavin said, Klum lo madnu, but did we learn netter Ravoi, that is your money from elsewhere, Elam Maaser Sheni. The Rav Yirmiyah's question, maybe it's your money and it's learned from Maaser Sheni, but it's not learned from that. The din is learned. One second. Ela Maaser Sheni. It's only learned from the din of Maaser Sheni. It's not learned from anywhere else. Now, Kamada Tem, just when we say Ein Maaser Sheni, look, Maaser Sheni, you don't take Maaser on Maaser Sheni. That's your money. Dichva say also the Ein Maaser Ravai Chayv Maaser. You don't have to take Maasers, right? You don't have to take Maasers from it. So just like Maaser Sheni, you don't have to separate Maasers, even though it's your money. The fact is, even though it's your money, that Lashon, even though it's your money, it's because it's your money. Even though it's your money, you don't have to take Maasros. Yeah. So similarly, in Ezra, you don't have to take Maasros, right? Even though it's your money, you do not have to take Maasros. V'shamay say Yeshlei Peret. Kerem Ravoi has these dinim of Peret and Oilolus, right? These are the sort of the underdeveloped grapes and things like that. Yeah. Now, the Gemara brings Machlekas, which depends on the question: is Maaser Sheni your money or heavenly money? Isas Maaser Sheni b'Yerushalmi. So you got Maaser Sheni dough found in Yerushalmi. According to Rameir, that Maaser Sheni is heavenly money. Patur min challah, the dough is passed from challah. Like the chiyuv challah is only on your dough, but not on heavenly dough, right? According to Rameir, Maaser Sheni is Mammon Gavaya, doesn't belong to you. According to Yehuda, who holds Maaser Sheni is Mammon Baalim, it's considered Arisa Seichem Chayebes B'Chala. You will have to separate Chala. Rabbi Yehuda said, Amru, they didn't say. Machlekes Rabbi Yehuda, Ela, where the dough was made in Yerushalmi. Or Bigvulin, if it was made outside Yerushalmi, then there's no argument with Rabbi Yehuda. And even Rabbi Yehuda agrees it's potter from Chiyuv Chala. Right? Because since you cannot eat it there, this dough outside Yerushalayim, you can't eat it, right? Therefore, you don't have to separate challah there. It's not considered your dough, okay? Since you can't eat it outside Yerushalayim, okay? Some say outside Yerushalayim, even Rabbi Yehuda agrees Maaser Sheni is Mammon Gavaya. There's no heter to eat it. You have to redeem it. All right. Rabbi Baba Kohen Boy Kum Rabbi. I see he asked, Divrei Mishum Mechayev B'Peret. According to the one who holds that there is the din of Peret, that's Beis Shammai in our Mishnah, Mahu, what's the din of a dough which has got Kedushas Rabbi? Are you going to tell me Shtei Chayeves B'Chala? Is it going to have a Chayev Chala as well? So what's the question? Amalei, he answered back. But Rabbi Yehuda was the one who said it's Mom and Baalim and it's Chayav Chala. He was the one who said that. It's your money, it's Chayav Chala. But Sarina Meimas, we wanted to say Kol Haloshon, all these halachas is Rabbi Yehuda about Ravoi is Kebei Shammai. So this din of Rabbi Yehuda, the Ravoi is Mom and Baalim and Chayav Chala. That's all very well, but that is Beis Shammai's view. It's not necessarily the view of Beis Hillel. Rabbi Yehuda's din that Mom is Mom and Baalim. That's Beis Shammai. And following Rebbe Shita, who explains Beis Shammai then Ravoi from Maaser Sheni. Of course, you had the other opinion, Yerushalmi Gamliel, that Beis Shammai never learned that din from Maaser Sheni at all. And according to Yerushalmi Gamliel, the question remains without any answer at all. Okay, how are we doing? I think we will stop here, Rabbi Sai.